pretty easy to make a montage in After Effects and then bring it into Premiere Pro. The way to do that is just go ahead and import your images. I'm going to double click on the project panel in the empty area here to import. Find my images, or I've already found them in Bridge, so I'll just select them here and drag them in. I'm going to drag them down to the empty timeline to make a single composition. 10 seconds for the duration of these still images, and I won't sequence them, so they'll be stacked. They're going to use the dimensions for the sequence or the composition the same as the images. So when I click OK and hit Control K to go to my sequence or composition settings, I'll notice it's 1280 by 720. We also have a black background, so when we don't see images, we'll see the black. And I'll call this EagleMontage. Now I've got 16, so that means I'm going to need these to be about 25% in size. So let's hit the timeline area and hit S while these are all selected. Bring one of them to 25 and hit Enter. All of them will stay scaled together. Now I'm going to turn on snapping. I think if you hold Alt, you can snap to the grid here. And that'll be our first one. Now we can probably just snap these pretty easily. And we'll make them 3D by clicking the tick box under the 3D cube column. Now we can select certain ones, holding Shift to keep our selection there. And let's use the P key to position these a little differently. We're going to, pull them toward us. So we need to drag left a little bit. Not too much. All right, and then some others will push back. So maybe that one. Actually, I want that one there. That one and that one. And then we'll come down to the timeline, hit P on that. We're going to push those by dragging right on the property for position. And since this one over here is so hidden, I'll pull them over. And this one's a little bit too far gone. Now, if I keep snapping on, it might mess up my Z space. I don't want to mess that up. Let's push this guy back. Now we can actually grab just the arrow here. There's a Z-axis arrow you can push. And maybe let's offset some of these. So I'll go to the Layer menu, go to New. Let's go to Camera. We want to mimic something maybe with a wide angle lens. How about 35 millimeter? Let's enable depth of field. So as you handle with the camera, you're going to get a different angle width than probably what we were looking through before with just the display. Now, since we're working with the camera, we're going to use the camera tool up here. Camera tool is a click and drag type of tool. We don't want to be orbiting, though. We just want to be panning. There's actually a different kind of tool for the camera. So here's one for tracking X and Y. That's pretty much what we need. So let's set our position maybe here. And what we'll do is set the position for the camera. Keyframe it there, and then maybe at the end of our timeline we'll move our camera a little bit, and those two keyframes are all we need. We might mess around with some of the camera settings just to see what we can do with depth of field here. We need to actually see the camera, so what we need is a different view. Let's try 4 views. Now our screen is split up into a top view, right view, over here, front view, and then the active camera. So this is what we're actually seeing. And as you can see, the camera best seen by the right view or the top view. So let's take a look at our focus distance. Okay, so it's represented by that little icon there. Let's see if we can focus on just a couple images here. And you can actually animate your aperture size to make the distance of your focus change if you'd like. Let's even just give it a wiggle expression. It jumps as you move along. Probably as you drag the playhead, it'd be better to see that jump. Pretty cool. One last thing we might do is make a giant background so we don't just see this black. How about we take one of these images and duplicate it, and I'll call this background. Bring that to the very bottom of the stack to make it two-dimensional. And let's reset the transform settings. So that thing's going to be in the background. Anyway, we'll save this as an After Effects file. I'm just going to put it on my desktop. EagleMontage. Alright, now back in Premiere. We've got a project here. We're going to import that, double-clicking on the project panel. Bring in this as a clip. It's going to ask you what your composition you want to use. You have to choose that one. For some reason, I always have to choose it twice. Now, once you've got it in here, it's already set for animation. It just needs to be sequenced, so we're ready to put it in. Hope this helps, and I hope you make some cool stuff with it.